Welcome to this Zoom tutorial. My name's John Maybury, and this lovely lady is
Lara McCormick from Big Rock Communications.
And thank you, Lara, for being our tutorial walkthrough to show you how to do Zoom interviews using your webcam or on your laptop. But first and foremost, how to record your Zoom interview. In the top right-hand corner, you have a number of different views. Now, I'm not going to change that at the moment because we're currently recording. It needs to be in speaker view, which means it needs to be a side-by-side for us to be able to edit that and push that out on your social media channels. So both parties need to be in speaker view. So I'm going to do a little checklist that you can do before the call that you can just simply say, okay, are you in speaker view? Correct. And then if you use your mouse, in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a record button. Obviously, we're recording this call, and you can see this down here. You'll press record, and then when each participant is ready to go, you just go 3, 2, 1. We are recording, and into your Zoom. Now, you'll notice in terms of the layout, anyone who is speaking has a green box or a green line around their box. When Lara starts talking,
like I am now,
her box will illuminate in the green frame. So it just alternates between the two. Before you press record, I want you to make sure that everybody is on the same alignment. How I'm framed in this video is how I would like you to be, with a little bit between the top frame and the top of my head and from my titties up. Now, in Lara's case, she's probably a little bit too high. I mean, she's Big Rock Communications and she's a high-flying lady, but we'd like her to be in the same in situ as me. So, Lara, there we go. So remember, we want the heads to be really the same size, and we want the same shot to be similar for both people.
And so when I'm looking, do I look at you or do I look somewhere else?
It's very much like doing a smartphone video recording, right? If you do selfie style, often people look at themselves in the screen rather than looking at the camera. Now, I know it's really, really difficult because you want to be able to look at someone and see how they react. You want to look at someone and, especially in a Zoom call, just naturally we look at people, but therefore our eye line is not looking at the camera where the people watching this video are. So I've got a webcam and it's right there and I'm talking to you. I can see Lara peripherally and Lara can look at the camera or look at me. It's more for the host. I think the host needs to, it's a bit like when we talk about doing an interview on camera. We want the host to bring in the audience, which is you now, and then Lara can just talk to me. Or your guest can just talk to you. So for the guest, it's not so much of a worry, but I think for the host, when you introduce your video, you might say 3, 2, 1. Do that little countdown. It all works. Welcome to today's video. Today we're with Lara McCormick, and we're going to be talking about how to Zoom effectively in your business. G'day, Lara. And then Lara can look at me.
What about my lighting? How do I get that right? I'm getting a lot of direct sunlight on me. How do I look? Because I look okay in the screen, but what can I do to improve the way I look to other people?
Sure. So you can use some natural light, and natural light is going to be the best solution for you. So just think about the light needs to be on your face rather than the other way around. Otherwise, then you're going to have a darkened face. So I know that Lara's got a window to her right. So what she could do is she could turn to face the light. So therefore the light's going to be on her face. But I know that Lara is a technological whiz and she's got a light ring like I do too. But so I've got a light ring now, and there we go. I've just put my light ring on and my back camera will obviously show that. But you don't need to have a light ring. It's just you need to be doing your Zoom calls in a place where there is natural light.
What if I've got the lawnmower guy next door starts up when I'm on a Zoom call? What should I do about that?
when someone else is talking, you can mute yourself.
Okay.
You can mute yourself. So let's just go, if we use your cursor and just understand some of the things which are happening, which are within the screen. So when you're recording, don't change the speaker view or exit full screen. Just kind of stay there. When you're doing some of these Zoom calls, you probably won't need to share any documents. I find it's great for talking to clients when you can share documents, which is the green button at the bottom. But I find during an interview, you probably don't need to do that. Remember that when we record these, we're going to send them to the editor, and we can still add B-roll or images or text to the graphics. In the bottom left-hand corner is probably to finish off the Zoom call or Zoom tutorial, is when you start, I do it instinctively every time. There is a microphone button and there is a video button. And what I do is I click the mute button and I test audio and headphones so I know that it is working. There's nothing more frustrating than going, can you hear me? Are we plugged in? Blah, 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 blah. So what I suggest you do is 10 minutes before the call, you get on your Zoom call and you test everything and make sure that you're all working. So then when your guest arrives 5 minutes later, 5 minutes before the due time, they can test and do that as well. The last thing is sometimes there's a bit of confusion around the meeting ID and the password. Where do you find the password when you're in the screen? So if you go up in the top right-hand corner, there's a little top left-hand corner, pardon me, there is a little information sign. And if you click that down, it says John Mabry Zoom meeting, and it says password. So we've got your meeting ID and the password. That should be given to you when you are invited to the Zoom meeting, but just in case that your guest has lost that, that's where you would get your password from. Now, the last thing we want to mention is Lara's piece de resistance, which of course is the virtual background. So as an example, we're using our natural scenery behind me. Now, but if you want to try out the virtual, in the bottom left-hand corner, you've got the microphone button and an up arrow, and then the video icon and an up arrow. If you click the up arrow next to the video, and then you'll get choose virtual background. And as you can see, I've already had a bit of a play here, and I can put my logo up, this is my logo here. And for me, it looks like it is in mirror view, but what do you see, Lara?
No, it looks fine. It's coming through loud and clear.
Cool. So obviously there is this bubble over my head, which is a little bit distracting. So my first preference is to ideally use a natural background, but if your background behind you is, I don't know, full of children and people playing, it's not a bad thing to have color and movement in the background, but I think it's also important to keep a neutral space. That is a fast and furious Zoom call for doing interviews using your webcam or on your laptop. Hopefully you found that valuable.